You're a business owner that's struggling in your business, and you need to find a way to fix it without having to do a whole bunch of work. What are the fastest ways to get your business back on track? Kevin Ware, your action business coach, helping you achieve your business dreams. And today we're not going to be talking about dreams. What we are going to be talking about is getting things going in your business without a lot of complexity. You're probably watching this video, you're probably more than likely a business owner who is struggling, or you know a business owner is struggling. They probably are at the end of their rope, or they're approaching that, and they don't need a lot of in-depth programs that's going to get their business back on track. They need to find a way, or you as a business owner need to find a way to get your business going without a lot of struggle. I'm going to go over those with you today. But first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to introduce my book, First Aid for a Wounded Business. I'm going to have a link below. If you're serious about getting your business back on track and no longer in the struggling mode, I recommend that you order this book. It is a guideline for how to stop the bleeding in your business to help you get your business back on track. So again, I've got the link below. Order it today. Now, let's go ahead and get down to business on the things that you need to work on that are quick, effective, and easy to initiate to get your business out of the struggle mode. The first thing we need to do is we need to identify the biggest problems. You're going to need to triage your own business because you probably have a lot of multiple things going on. But just like when you go into an emergency room and then triage nurse figures out all the things that are going on to fix the thing that's most important at that time, you're going to have to triage yourself. We have to look at finances. Is it a financial issue you need to deal with quickly? Is it a personnel issue? Is it a sales issue? Is it a marketing issue? Are you burnt out? Or a combination of all thereof. I can probably say a lot of business owners says, well, it's everything, Kevin. Yeah, I know it's everything, but we have to tackle the first thing before we can tackle anything else. So you have to do triage on your business. Now, more than likely, a lot of what's going on in struggling businesses is you're running cash flow negative, you're bleeding out all over the place, you need to fix something quick. So how do we go about doing that? Second thing you're going to do is you need to find a path to break even in your business. So what is break even? It's basically where you basically get that $0 that says every dollar that comes in matches all of your expenses. So that's break even. How do you calculate break even? Well, pretty simple. Break even equals your fixed cost in your business, those costs that are reoccurring every month, divided by your gross profit margin. Now, if you need some more details on how to figure out a gross profit margin, let me know. I will definitely help you, okay? So once we figure out what that break-even point is, then we need to do probably one of two things. We either have to offload overhead. Maybe you've got some extra space in your rent that you need to figure out how to get rid of it. Maybe you need to make a radical decision and move to a smaller location, as unpleasant as that may be. You also may have to cut unnecessary staff. Maybe you're holding on to employees too long who are not doing enough to help you get out of your struggles. And maybe you're going to have to make that hardcore decision on getting rid of staff. Those are the two biggest things. If we're going to do cost cutting, we're going to take a look at, again, unnecessary overhead, unnecessary staff. Not easy, but it's quick. You can do it and make it happen. Okay, the third thing that we would need to do in order to get your struggling business back on track is do what I call dialing for dollars. You're going to have to pick up the phone and start calling. Why? Two primary areas you're going to call in. If you are invoicing customers and you've got some past due payments out there, you're going to have to pick up that phone and said, hi, I'm going over your accounts receivable. It looks like you're 30 days past due. Hey, when can I get a payment? I had a client one time. He had $300,000 in past due invoices. He had just never followed up on them. In 1 week, he collected $60,000 of that $300,000, and within 6 weeks, he got completely caught up and got his business back on track. Now, if you are a cash-only business, then you're going to have to do the other side of it. You're going to have to figure out dialing for dollars to get more revenue in. Best way you can do that is go back to your database of happy customers. I'm going to talk about that in just a second if you've got problems with other customers. But if you have happy customers, you need to dial for dollars and said, hey, I'm glad you're loving us here. Here's a question. Who do you know who could use us? Do you have friends, family? Ask for the referral. Too many business owners do not effectively ask for referrals. You're going to have to go out there and do that. You may not like it, but it works, and it works brilliantly, especially if you have a really good script that you can use. So, dialing for dollars. One, to call those past due accounts, call those happy customers to get you more referrals. Now, the fourth area we need to work on is offload unnecessary tasks to others. Here's the problem I see a lot of business owners that are struggling is that they're spending way too much time doing very low-level tasks. They are sweeping the floors. They are trying to do everything themselves. And their idea that, well, I can save a wage by doing it myself. Well, Brad Sugars makes a great observation. He says, saving a wage will cost you a fortune. Why? Because you are not doing the most critically important tasks that you need to do as a business owner to get your business back on track. So how do we offload unnecessary tasks to others? Number one, take a look at your employees. What are the, even if you had to cut staff, you probably can start offloading tasks to others. Maybe you're going to have to do some video training with them and then show them how to do something. So your employees can probably do a lot more and start doing things for you. You just have to do a very quick training of them and then monitor, make sure that they're doing that. The second way is find contractors. 1099 services to get it off of your plate and onto a contractor. It doesn't have to be forever until you bring an employee that can do it in the future, but you have to get something, that's a 1099 person can be perfect for you to offload something. The third area and get offloading those unnecessary tasks is find a virtual assistant. There's a huge amount of services out there where you can take administrative things that you're doing and find it and give it to somebody else. Here's a good question for you. Bookkeeping. Are you doing your own bookkeeping? Find somebody else to do that bookkeeping. There's a lot of online bookkeepers out there that will do the bookkeeping for you. But Kevin, I don't trust anybody with my money. Well, guess what? You're then claiming control of things, and you're not going to ever let go of that because you have a fear factor going on. And I can guarantee you there's a huge amount of bookkeepers who are honest, ethical, and who have your best in mind. So take the courage to make that happen and offload it to somebody there. If you want to find people out there who can do things for you, Fiverr.com, Fiverr.com is a great website to find some people who can do things and take it off of your shoulders. So number 5 in getting your struggling business back on track is, where are you dropping the ball with customers? Probably one of the reasons you're struggling is that you have not met customer expectations and they're not coming back, and maybe they're even leaving negative reviews. So what are we going to do to get these customers back on track quickly? First thing is you have to survey the customers. You're going to have to find out why your customers are not liking you. Now, can you send out that by email? Sure, but sometimes it's going to have to be called, dialing and calling them up and said, hey, notice that we haven't served you well. Tell me what's going on. Figure out a theme of where you and your team are dropping the ball with customers, and then find ways to be consistent. Now, you're not going to be brilliant right off the bat. What's most important is your customers want you to be consistent on an ongoing basis, because usually if you're aiming for brilliance, you're not going to make it every single time. Because think about this. If you're brilliant one day and lousy the next, what does your customer remember? Yeah, lousy. So find a way to be consistent with your business, especially in customer service, so that they can know what they expect every single time they do business with you. And then basically another thing is, along with this, is measure the success numbers that will determine if you're matching or meeting customers' expectations. I'll give you a good example. I used to run restaurants, and one of the things that we would do, we knew our customers were very time sensitive. They wanted to be through the drive-thru in 60 seconds or less. Guess what we did? We obsessively measured that number, because once we knew we got that number down to 60 seconds or less in the drive-thru, guess what happens? Our sales would skyrocket, because people knew they were coming to our restaurant for brilliant food. They were demanding speed, and if we could meet their speed expectations, guess what? They were coming back all the time. So find 1 or 2 key numbers that you need to measure to know that if you meet that number, your customers are going to love you, whatever that looks like to you. Now, finally, the last one, the 6th one, is get a vision for your business. You need to create and paint a picture of where you want to take your business. A lot of business struggles is because you haven't painted a bright future for your business, and so your team isn't inspired, and you're not inspired. And you may be struggling right now, but what you need to do is you need to create some inspiration for yourself, and you need to create that exciting vision of where you want to take your business, and then give that vision to the team and get them excited even if things are not going right. Because so much of business is enthusiasm, a bright future. You know where you're going even if you're in the middle of struggles. So take these 6 steps that I just talked about today and start implementing them in your business. Again, if you want a much further detailed on some of these issues, these ideas I just went over, definitely order the book, First Aid for a Wounded Business. Link is below. If you want to talk with me, I'll also have a link there that you can have a 15-minute conversation with me, and we'll throw some ideas of how to get your business back on track. Go out there, make it a great day in your business.